No one is quite sure when the 19-year-old woman left Minnesota for Syria. 2 weeks ago, distraught family members reached out to community activist Abdi Bihi.
Well, they told me they were missing a young girl for about a week, and that young girl made a call to them from allegedly Egypt.
The next night, the family got another call.
They told me that she called from Siiriya.
And what did she tell them?
She basically told them that she's going to help the wounded in Syria in the war as a nurse.
Bihi says family members have reported what they know to the FBI, but they have no idea when or how she was recruited. Bihi says someone on the ground in Minnesota is obviously giving these young people money.
Somebody in here is buying a ticket.
Bihi believes ISIS is luring some recruits with a sophisticated media campaign.
Like I'm still dreaming. I'm feeling like I'm still dreaming.
This is just one video posted on YouTube by the group heading up ISIS English language media campaign.
All believers come.
This man is identified as being from the U.S.
Little children, they are having fun.
The video shows idyllic sequences of children at an amusement park, intercut with images of fighters handing out toys and children holding military-style weapons. Recruits from different nations urge others to come join them. The final shot is of smiling children, and in white lettering, a graphic says, "I wish you were here."
But first, terror recruiting on our doorstep. The latest Minnesotan to leave the state and travel to Syria to fight for ISIS, a 19-year-old woman.
This certainly is a troubling development. Recruiting in Somali communities had been limited to young men. Now, though, it appears that women are the new targets. Our Tim Chernow met with a leader in the Somali community today, and this is certainly something they're concerned about.
It absolutely is, very much front of mind. Sadiq Warfa is Deputy Director of the Global Somali Diaspora, an organization supporting Somalis here in Minnesota and around the world. He pointed out that the number of Somalis recruited from Minnesota is a tiny fraction of the entire community, as he described that community, the Somali-American community. It's a shock. News of a 19-year-old Somali woman from St. Paul traveling to Syria to join ISIS is drawing a swift and simple response.
This young lady, for example, she was misguided.
Sadiq Warfa is closely connected with a community that's frightened by the headlines.
The good news is that her family contacted the FBI. And that tells you that we as a community, we are working with our law enforcement.
That was underscored by the FBI in the last week.
We're very actively engaged within the Somali community. We're engaged with religious leaders, we're engaged with community leaders, and we're engaged with concerned members of the public who are abhorred by what they see with respect to their young people and want to put a stop to it.
Warfa says he struggles to understand how a young person could make a choice to join an organization as brutal as ISIS.
What is causing, somebody who had left in a civil war, that came here, have a second chance in life? What is pushing that person to go to the unfamiliar territory, like Syria, and to fight a war that is not, our religious leaders are saying is very wrong?
Warfa finished with an impassioned plea to young Somali Americans living in Minnesota.
Please work hard. You are living one of the greatest countries in the world. You have opportunities that don't exist in other part of the world. Please take advantage and study hard and become a productive member of a society of this great country we have.
Very passionate. Now, I circled back to the FBI today, and I was told that their investigation is ongoing. They're looking for the connections between the young people on the streets of Minneapolis and St. Paul and ISIS in Syria. The community is trying to help them.
And now it's interesting, they're not just going back to Somalia, but going to Syria now as well.
That is the troubling development, and as I spoke with the FBI last week, they said that that's something that they had been tracking before, but now with this new piece of news, it seems like there is definitely an issue there.
Well, as he said, there's no place like the United States for opportunity, and there are much better paths for young people.
Very patriotic.
Thanks, Tim.
A former Minnesota man, Douglas McCain, died last month fighting for ISIS in Syria, as we've reported before. His family learned firsthand how extreme his views had changed him. McCain graduated from Robbinsdale Cooper High School in New Hope in 1999, and he converted to Islam about 10 years ago. His cousin, who still lives here in the Twin Cities, told us that the change really happened quickly and drastically. Along with converting to Islam, he changed his identity. His name and his views on social media were different. And his cousin told us even his voice had changed. She said he began speaking with what she believed to be a Somali accent. As we